saying ass blood like that is just the most terrifying thing on planet Earth, gotta say.
Oh, you know, it's a...
Wait, who? For me or someone else?
Like, the person who was saying it in, like, the high-pitched tone.
What?
Ass blood?
What? Oh, I got a bunch of stories about ass. Oh, well, are you okay? You sound like you're choking. Is it on ass blood? When you said you ate ass, I didn't mean literally. You okay? Are you okay?
I mean, it's just...
I think I actually have to go now, so I'll be back later.
Okay.
Okay.
Ass blood. Ass blood.
Okay, what the hell? What the hell?
Story. I was in the 8th grade, and when you are in the 8th grade, you want to experiment. You want to be like, oh yeah, this is a thing that adults do, I'm gonna do it. So, there's this kid, I'm gonna call him Jonathan. He was an idiot, just to preface the story. You know, like, I've told it enough to just recognize he's an idiot. Well, okay. So, what happens, is he wants to use a dildo, but he doesn't know how or where to get one. So, he takes his mother's vase. It's about 2 inches in diameter. Tall, but it's
Wiggly.
it's squiggly, not super tall, 2 inches in diameter. Takes it, shoves it right up in his asshole, and goes to bed. Wakes up the next day. He gets dressed, and I'll say it now because I always forget. He color coordinates his outfit this day too. He got a new pair of white Jordans, so he gets a white polo and some really bright, nearly white khakis, and he goes to school with the vase still in his ass.
No.
And he tells Lauren Allen, biggest fucking blabbermouth. Okay? And she tells everybody.
Oh my
And
god.
so I have Jonathan in my 5th period science class. And I'm thinking, no, there's no way this boy has a vase in his ass. But I look at him. It's a Friday. It's test day. It's nice and quiet, so we're all just testing. And he's sitting there. He's got his man spread on. You know, his legs all sorts out there. And, well, I'm like, no, he's sitting too comfortably. No, there's not a vase up there. And we go about our business. So it's nice and quiet. You hear like, fuck. Oh shit, hold on. Ah, fuck. Ow.
You alright?
Yeah, I dropped a pillow and I need to pick it up. While I'm doing that, let me get a prop. Oh shit, here we go. This is nice. It's a good prop.
Please not put anything of your ass in my presence.
Anyway.
Zuzu, no anal penetration on the Discord call.
What? No, I've gotta. Like, it's necessary.
No!
It's an... Anyway. So, you know, it's quiet. You hear, like, this gentle flipping of a page, you know.
And then Ricardo.
And there's Ricardo, who's
Fucking
as
Ricardo.
loud as he possibly can. You hear, like, the scribbling of a pen, you know. You know, nice, A, B, C, D, simple test. And, it's nice and quiet. And, Jonathan just starts screaming, ah! And he's, like, losing it. He's, like, sticking his hands out, and he's shaking. He's, like, flexing, he's gonna do something for him, and he's screaming. He's screaming, he's like, ah! And he's, like, crying, and there is blood just, like, absolutely sloshing out of his chair in waterfalls. Gross! It's really gross! And, I live in Texas, so there are the mega Bible thumpers who decide to run to the corner of the room whip out their Bibles and just, like, start chanting mantras, trying to, like, fix this boy or some shit. And then there are the assholes like me, who are like, it's got a brace this off. Brace this off. This is broke. Brace this off. And my sweet teacher, Miss Nadovich, walks up to Jonathan and she's like, oh my goodness, what's this blood? Where's all this blood coming from? Somebody has to tell her, you know, you're not just gonna leave your teacher in the dark about boy shoving a vase in his ass, but, us all decided to do it very delicately. Like, well, Miss Nadovich, I think that there is a possibility that perhaps maybe Jonathan has, maybe put a vase inside of his butt, and it could have, maybe, possibly, probably broke. Miss Nadovich is great, okay? She told us, she had explosive diarrhea on her first date during her first date.
The ass blood story.
So,
Welcome back, brother.
Welcome back.
Like, turned into ASMR for one bit, and it was fucking wild.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's good.
Okay.
Go on, sorry.
No, you're fine. But, you know, she's not embarrassed. She likes to laugh. She's trying really hard to not laugh at this boy. She's failing. So she's like, oh, okay. And she has to write him a nurse's note. And mind you that my school was terrible. It was absolutely dreadful. There were knife fights constantly, just all the time. And so, I mean, it was so bad that there was these two girls. They didn't know each other at all, different grades, like, absolutely couldn't have known each other. They looked at each other across the cafeteria, and they just, like, started bounding towards each other, jumping over the lunch tables, running through people's food, pushing them aside, and they start, like, a fist fight in the middle of the cafeteria. And it got so bad that teachers had to, like, get involved, and this pregnant lady, like, broke her leg, okay? It was bad. So, you needed a nurse's note, no matter how badly you were, just to guarantee that this didn't happen because of, like, a knife fight. This didn't happen because, you know, you were doing something stupid. This happened because of something in class. So, she writes him his nurse's note. She's like, what do I put? I think I'll write butt blood. And she does. And so she hands him his butt blood nurse's pass. And when there is a shattered vase inside your rectum, you cannot simply stand up and walk. You have to do something funky. So Jonathan, taking advantage of the fact that his legs are spread as possible, gets up in this bow-legged squat, you know, like a cowboy, and he swings his leg forward, out, and he stomps. And with every stomp, there was a splat of blood. So it's stomp, splat, stomp, splat. And it was very slow. Like, he doesn't have a lot of force, and with every movement, I'm sure it just pushes that glass deeper and deeper inside his ass. So he's like,
oh my fucking god.
He's sobbing and walking. And of course there are going to be students just, like, flooding the hallways like, holy shit, who just died? And so the science hall is at the front of the school, as it should be, closest to the nurse's office, so you don't have to worry. What the fuck? Hold on. Hold the fucking phone.
I'm holding my phone and recording this. We have 8 minutes of footage so far.
Oh, I'll keep going. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway. So he's stopping up to the nurse's office, and everything calms down. We're all quiet, waiting for the janitor to show up. He doesn't. The janitor doesn't show up, but we hear him. He's not silent. He's at the end of the hallway. He probably heard. I've got to clean this shit off. Fuck. He shows up, and you hear like, oh Jesus. You hear sound of like a broom or a mop just like clattering to. He starts screaming. This is what I do for a living! I collect blood to support my family! I clean the blood from children's assholes! Ass blood! Ass blood! I smaller, and the cafeteria was just always a mess. And if you think that's the end of the story, you're wrong.
Oh my god.
So Jonathan shows back up about 2 weeks, I don't know, later. I don't give a shit about him. And as a child, I was very awkward. I didn't like eye contact. And so I'm like avoiding his gaze. I'm looking at the ground, and I'm standing behind him, listening to him talking about, like, you know, ass stitches or whatever the fuck he did. The day before, our teacher, Miss Madovich, was like, you can't call him a dumbass or any other iteration of ass or dumb, because it'd be really insensitive to a situation. So we don't. And he's talking, and I look at the back of his shoes, and I'm like, kind of dirty looking, you know. Kind of seemed like really rustically buddy, but it wasn't thick like mud. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe he slipped in something. So I look up a little bit more, and the back of his shorts are just like all this brown, red nastiness, like splotchy all over the back of it. It's a little on the edge, but it's nice and clean. And there's a little bit of it in the back of his shirt, you know. Not a lot, but a little. And I look to the front of him, and I'm like, Jonathan. He goes, yeah? Are those the ass blood gloves? And there's like a weird up the front of his clothes as if they've been before. And he goes, oh yeah, thought they looked cool, so I asked to take them home and had my mom stitch them up. Cool, right? And my teacher, without missing a beat, is like, remember what I said yesterday? You can call him whatever you want. They obviously used the remains of his ass to fix his dysfunctional brain. Okay. It gets better. I never mentioned this. Like, I didn't think about it at the time, but I was telling the story in like my senior year of high school to my theater class, because we had to do a monologue, and I was in advanced theater, so I could say whatever the hell I wanted. And I'm telling this story, and I finish, and there's this kid who like stands up in the back, and I moved to like a different city, 2 cities away from where I used to live in middle school, so you know they wouldn't know. This kid stands up in the back and he goes, you were there for that? Yeah. He goes, I saw that on the news. Like, we tried finding art about it on the news, but we just couldn't.
Oh my god.
So that's the Aspen story.
Oh my god. So fucking hung up over like that. It's just like fucking cat-faced teacher voice. It's just like the...
And the fucking janitor who had a day.
Like invoking ass blood like the name of God, and then fucking like fucking destroying the ass blood kid. Like, say whatever you want. Like fucking, like goddamn, he's been through enough. He's already dead.
I hope he isn't procreating right now. That'd be bad.
I hope he doesn't have an anal sex.
Do you think he has scars on his ass? I bet he has scars on his ass.
On?
That's like the fucking worst like villain backstory ever. They laughed at me. They laughed at me because I bled from my...
That's it. That's where I'm ending this recording. They laughed at me because I bled from my ass.
I actually have a zombie movie idea because of the story.